Yo, welcome to another episode of Cold Conversations. I got my notebook with me. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm in control. I'm in my mode. I'm in my zone. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm in control. I'm in my mode. I'm in my zone.
I hope everybody out there is doing well. I don't know if I'm adjusting well to daylight saving time ending or I'm just old, but it gets dark around 5 o'clock now and it feels like it's 11:17 p.m. That's just me. I don't know how you feel. I want to talk about mental health, the state of it, and how we kind of deal with that. And there's a situation with Draymond Green. Full disclosure, I'm an Oakland boy. I'm a Warriors fan. I tend to like Draymond Green, and I think it's going to be a very interesting topic. But that'll be more. I don't know. I was going to say that'd be a more fun topic, but the strategy that I'm going to take with this. I want to do these things to have fun. Let's hop into this first topic of mental health. As of late, last few years, maybe the last 8, however many, definitely 5. The conversations around mental health have become more prevalent. You've seen more people talk about it. You've seen institutions try to take it on. You've seen people be very open about their mental health. And that's a huge advancement for our society. For a long time, people didn't talk about those things. I'm obviously Black, and there's always been this thing on Black people that we don't believe in therapy or we don't take mental health seriously or things like that, right? So I think these advancements are good, and I think that they are positive in a lot of ways. Now, you want a real conversation or the right conversation? The right conversation is I know what the talking points need to be when we're discussing mental health. I know when you start talking about responsibility this and platform that and all that good stuff. Real conversation, I am missing on social media real conversation that is not played for virality, that's not playing to a crowd or an audience, but if you were with the people that you care about, if you're with your friends, if you're with your loved ones, if you're in your living room, if you're at a bar, a place where you mutually trust somebody and you have a real conversation, that's the conversation I want to have around mental health. And let's just jump into it. There are very real mental health issues that many people are facing, that you might be facing. I actually think everybody deals with mental health issues in their own various way. I was born in 83. I grew up in a crack epidemic. I grew up in shelters. I lived in cities all across. I've seen a lot of things. I've been hurt. I've hurt people. Like everybody has dealt with that. I also think that mental health as of late has become a grift in many, many, many different circles. I think that when I see people with very fancy language, newer ways to talk about these things, and I'm not saying that, again, there has been language around this stuff. There are real therapists, there are real counselors, there are people that have licenses and degrees to do these things. But with everything in life, everything that can start out pure can be tainted. And people learn how to play systems, people learn how to grift. And I think that what we are now seeing is a large swath of people that are very good with words, that are very good at the internet, better than most people, are hijacking a very serious issue that many people go through, and they are using it to their advantage, whether it's monetarily, whether it's getting out of certain things, whether it is cover, whatever the case is, because we live in a new age where everybody is a celebrity or everybody is living out their own reality TV show. And it is very, very tough to watch. And you kind of get forced into that. You really do. When I stepped away from Facebook and Instagram and things like that, simply just because it wasn't making me feel good. I didn't like it. I felt like, it forces you to perform. I feel like anytime you want to just make a simple statement, but you have to have double the talking time just to make sure you're checking boxes so people know what team you're on about specific things. I think that's a problem. So I left. And I don't think it's a problem of one side. I think that if you are a liberal person, people are upping and having to be the most liberal person of all time. I think if you're a conservative person on the internet, people are upping and trying to be the most conservative of all time. I think we're in a space where when people are critiquing art or media, you either love this movie or it's the greatest movie ever or it's the worst movie ever, and there's an agenda and there's this and that. Like, we are losing the ability to have actual authentic conversation that is not performative. And again, that even when you look at thumbnails, like the way people have to make thumbnails is the most inauthentic thing I've ever seen. And I have to make thumbnails. And I'm just like, I do not want to do this fake pose to do this thing. Let me just tell you what it is. And you know what happens? Your stuff don't get seen. Now, algorithms don't pick it up. What does that have to do with mental health? So I think that there is a grift that is happening both consciously and subconsciously. But here's the thing that's worse than the grift or people faking it or virtue signaling or whatever your term is that you want to have on it. I think that real people are going through mental health stuff, but they don't have the internet savvy. They don't have the language. They don't have the resources, and they don't have the specific communities behind them to lift them up. So you know what? All those same issues of the 70s and the 80s and the 90s just get perpetuated through these people, and it ends up being even worse for them because they're watching people pretend to be them. You know what I'm saying? They're pretending to have those issues. Like, a lot of mental health issues are not articulate. And what I mean by that is they are not packaged in a way that is easy for people to digest or to take. It can be ugly. It can be scary. It can be unbecoming. But because everybody on the internet is perfect, and because we live in that time where if people sin differently than you sin, we get to crucify them and you get to have grace. And I just feel like we are entering in a very dangerous territory. So if you do truly care about mental health, try to notice it, when it's happening to people that you care about or yourself in real life in real time. Try to avoid playing it up for the internet, please, because that's the stuff that's leading people to hurt themselves. That is the stuff that's actually not solving these issues of mental health for people, but it's turning other people into, I don't know, like crisis actors almost, right? It was a rant, but it is what it is. Listen, man, I've struggled with things in a very serious manner. I will be transparent in a sense and just say, there are certain environments that I grew up in, and I was never a hard kid, a thug. I'm not a fighter. I'm not tough. I'm not any of that stuff. But I did grow up in certain communities. And there's certain codes that you learn in those places. It's just something that you learn to survive. Like, I'm a nerd for all intents and purposes, but I'm an Oakland nerd. It's a very different, you got to understand the nuance. The same way somebody might be quiet from Detroit, but they're from Detroit. They understand how to move in a place like Detroit. So we don't teach our own, and I'm talking to my people, I'm talking to Black people now. We talk a lot about survival and about how to get out the muck and keep going forward. And I do it. I talk about it. I enjoy talking about it because that's what I learned and I've been able to watch. But we did not build the manual, the companion manual on when you actually reach success, what that looks like and how do you deal with that. And it's caused me to make a lot of changes in the last, few years. And I think that, just kind of keep it to myself more and doing those things because of those mental health issues or that trauma that people talk about or things that you're trying to unlearn. And it's sometimes you feel a little, iffy when somebody's telling you to unlearn something, but that thing that they tell you to unlearn helped you survive in a circumstance, a situation that they are not aware of. But the thing that got you here won't keep you here. I think those are really tough lessons that a lot of people are trying to learn at the same time. And I would tell you to give yourself some grace and give yourself some space. Get away from this internet stuff if you need to for a while. It's okay to disappear and get yourself right. Everything does not need to play out on social media. And guess what? Watching it play out probably ain't the best for you either. You know what I'm saying? So just have that awareness, take care of yourself, and don't grift on mental health. Just it's too sacred, it's too precious. There's too much at stake for real people. But I'm from the crack era, baby. What do I know? Like, I'm from the era where People sold drugs to each other, did the drugs, made rap songs about it, got really rich, and then you try to go on the straight and narrow, and then they say you're not real. So I don't know. I think we all just a little messed up, and I think we got to be honest about that.